Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Uncle Mad. Today, it is Monday, April 27th, 2026. Our last morning here in the mountains, sitting out on the patio. We didn't have the best view this trip, but our little mini cabin we're staying in is kind of on the bottom side of the resort chain that we're staying at this time. So we've stayed at this chain, the Elk. I think I remember it, Elk Skin, Elk Lodge, something or other. We stayed in different ones of their cabins in the past, and usually the one we stay in is like higher up on the mountain, so it's got a better view than this one, but is what it is. Side note there. Wrapping up our time here this weekend before we head back to Nashville, the inaugural Run Dollywood Weekend event. Thought before we hit the road, I'd just give a couple of quick thoughts on the overall experience with that event and my thoughts on potentially participating in future events. They have announced, at least here at the event, I don't think they've publicly announced it, that the next one will be in September, I believe the 26th and the 27th. So obviously, if you watch the two race day videos, you know the biggest issue I had was 100% the hills. It is a very hilly, elevation changing courses, especially 10K and the half marathon, especially. Obviously, the longer the race goes, the more hills you're gonna have to hit because that's just the terrain up here. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not like they just like drew the map up and we're like, oops, there's a bunch of hills on here. It's just that's literally all you could possibly do with a course like that. For more hardcore runners who train and run and do all the in-depth stuff to prepare for races, I'm sure it's still not easy, but I'm sure it's not as big of a deal to them. I'm a very casual runner at this point. I'm running like maybe 2 to 3 times a week at best, and sometimes I go like 2 or 3 weeks without running at all. So, for me, being an adequate casual runner at this point, very very challenging courses. The half marathon, I'd say I walked probably in total, if you took all the time I spent walking, is probably 2 to 3 miles of the course I was just walking because my legs were just shot from going up and down the hills. And at a certain point in time, I just was like, I'm not going to run up hills. I'm just going to, anytime we hit a hill, I'm just going to walk. So with that being said, in terms of the courses, I really would want to run those courses again. But in terms of coming back for maybe the fall race, I would maybe like to come back just to see what did they learn from this weekend, because this is their first time ever doing it. So obviously there was going to be some hiccups, some bumps in the road, some things. And I think overall, you know, outside of the course, I complained about the parking situation on day one a little bit, but that, sort of was my own fault for not just sucking it up and taking the tram. But I think it'll be interesting to see what they learn and how they develop and how they grow from this. Because I think they're going to keep doing it and keep going because their president is a big time runner. He's run marathons in all 50 states. He ran all the races this weekend. So when you got somebody who's that committed to running and racing involved in the deal, it's something they're probably going to keep going and continuing with. So it'd be interesting to see how they grow out and develop it and continue to expand because for a first time event, I really did not see any major like hitches or like mistakes. Traffic flow, parking, getting in and out of the race hub, all that went really, really well, really, really smoothly. No issues there. I think it was around 1,500 to 2,000 racers per race. I think it was 1,500, 1,300, then maybe like 1,500 it looked like for the three races. So that's quite a few runners. That was kind of one of the issues is like sometimes it gets pretty congested on the course just because the paths are so narrow, especially like going through the parks. But once again, you got the space you got. There's only so much you can do. But if I did come back and do the fall race here at Dollywood, that would be the reason, just to be see what changes, what evolves, what grows, what gets bigger. Because I think this is very inspired by the Run Disney deal, and it's one of the best racing deals there is. The way Disney does races. And so I think that's probably something Dollywood is trying to get to. Obviously, they're going to be on a much smaller scale than Disney. I mean, that's just how it has to be. But yeah, I think that's sort of the targeted thing is the Run Disney experience to get to something like that. So be interested to see where it goes from there. So maybe come back in the fall, but I don't know. It's a long way away. I'll make that decision closer to time, I'm sure. But despite the brutal, murderous hills, I had fun. I will say that it was a fun experience. It was cool these are the kind of only really, especially like longer races. Like I'll do 5Ks and 10Ks, just whatever. But like half marathons, marathons, this is probably the only type of stuff that I would be willing to like do those length of races for, just because I got no meniscus and no cartilage in one of my knees. It's only got so much time left before it's completely just useless. So if I'm doing more races, like I want them to be stuff like this where there's some kind of theming, some kind of fun element, some kind of different element to it. I don't want to run like a 13K around Smyrna, Tennessee. 13K, like a half marathon around Smyrna, Tennessee. No shout to Smyrna. I like Smyrna. It's a good town. No reason for me to run a half marathon there. So one final thought. I think if I came back and did the fall one, I might want to stay on property at one of the Dollywood resort hotels. Either, I think it's Dreammore, or I should probably know these, but whatever. They have 2 resort hotels on property. You can get the tram service straight from your hotel to the race. Not tram, trolley. Might make a little bit better race experience being in the hotel, having that experience. And there's some things we saw when we were at the hotel for the expo that we were like, oh, there's a nice little restaurant in this hotel. This would be a cool place to wind down after a park day or something like that. So we'll see. We got plenty of time to decide if we're coming back in the fall or not. But just thought I'd give my final full recap, full review of the weekend. Great time with Jesta and our German friend, obviously. The voice is going. We're running out of steam. I think we got a couple stops we're going to make on the way back to Nashville, so we'll show you what we get into there, and before you know it, we'll be back home. Goodbye to the Sweet Dreams cabin at the Elk Springs Resort. I don't know if I got that right in the previous little clip, but we're all done here. We're heading out. Everybody having fun? Mm-hmm. Blast? Good times? Good times, Jesta? Good times? Did you enjoy the cabin?
I did.
Did you enjoy the cabin?
Yeah, of course.
Good to know.
Did we put the trash and lock the bears out?
Yes, ma'am.
Trash is trashed, and the bears aren't bearing. Decided to make a quick stop for breakfast before we fully leave the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge bubble, and I asked my mom for recommendations once again. My mom and my dad and all their friends all do a big trip every November, so that's why I keep asking her for recommendations on stuff. She recommended that, she said on their way out they go to the farmhouse in Sevierville. Well, I looked up the farmhouse. It doesn't exist. There's nothing just called the farmhouse. But there was either 2 options. There was this place, Five Oaks Farm Kitchen, and there was like the Apple Barn place type stuff. And this one, the menu looked a little bit better, so I selected this one. So we're going to stop here, quick breakfast, and get back on the road briefly, because we got one more stop before we head all the way back. And I'm sure you can probably figure out what it is. Got seated pretty quickly, no wait. I really like the decor in this place. It's very nice, like old school. Definitely feels like a farmhouse vibe.
It's like Sissy's house.
It does look like that.
Kind of looks like a more, I don't know, like wood-themed Cracker Barrel. I don't know if that makes sense.
It looks like Sissy's house. This is how my mom decorates with all the old little cans.
Sissy decorates with cans. This is what we've learned today.
She does. Like canisters.
Look at menu. A lot of your classic kind of standard breakfast, especially like southern breakfast type selections, omelets, different variations on eggs, some casseroles, which I think are kind of more like scrambles.
They got bennies.
This is kind of what I'm looking at over here. This Harvest Morning Bounty. Your sides, your drinks, grilled cakes, and they got lunch as well starting at noon. So pretty good looking menu, I'd say. Figure out what we're gonna get. I think I'm gonna go with the Campbell Maples here on the Harvest Morning Bounty section. That sounds good. We got quite the spread here, and I believe Jesta and Sabrina both had said they weren't all that hungry. We got brought out like the largest platters of food humanly possible, but look at what I got over here.
You got a skillet.
Yeah, like a whole daggone tray to bring out mine, and even a second plate for the griddle cake. Good grief.
It's not even a pancake. That's like a hockey puck.
I gotta drive home after this. I'm gonna need a nap. Trying the griddle cake first, because that just seemed like the way to go. That was really good.
Your face could have made it go one way or the other.
Okay. Country fried steak. Can't get it in. We'll go grits next. Cheesy grits. good.
I think you picked the wrong breakfast.
It's
Why?
good potatoes.
It's delicious.
No, look at
Good, like, sliced up, like, home fresh, all hash brown potato. Oh, it's great. Good choice by me. Good job, Matt. Uncle Matt gets the gold star today. All done at Five Oaks Farm Kitchen. Delicious breakfast, so much food, not too expensive either, and quick service, sat right away. So it's kind of like a perfect little eat on your way out of town spot because everything goes quick. You're not having to delay your travels. I'm pretty sure we're pretty much right towards the end of the Pigeon Forge strip, so we'll be kind of one of the last things you kind of hit before you head out of town anyway. So good spot, would recommend it. Not sure if it's what my mom intended to recommend to us, but one way or the other, turned out well. Your thoughts?
I like that your food came out on a hubcap.
Yes, it was the largest plate I've eaten off of in some time. Felt like a Ron Swanson style like breakfast platter that was supposed to be shared with other people, and then it just came out for just me. And I was like, oh,
I know what I ordered.
Is this yeah, exactly.
I know what I'm about, son.
I'm afraid you didn't hear me correctly. I said, bring me all the bacon and eggs you have. Of course, final stop of the trip, hopefully, at least till we get home. Buc-ee's, the Buc-ee's in Sevierville. I've never been to this one before. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the current largest Buc-ee's, so there's something new. This one is definitely noticeably bigger. Until it's like width-wise, I would say it's wider than most of the Buc-ee's. Usually kind of like a narrow chute that you're getting shot through, but this one spread out, really not that congested. I like it. So after our Travel Day Down vlog released, one of the viewers of the channel told me I needed to acquire the Buc-ee's soccer jerseys so that they might gift it to somebody. So never say I don't do anything for my viewers. A viewer asked me to buy the soccer jersey so that they could give it as a gift to somebody, and I'm doing it. Shout out you, the viewers.
What's the number on the back?
82.
That's my year.
Our year.
Do you want one? Do you want to have a matching jersey? Since
No, thank you.
I like this one.
I will say, even though I like how big and spacious this Buc-ee's is, it has one major issue. It's got all this cool Buc-ee's merch. And you turn here. Disgusting. In addition to picking up a soccer jersey, I also bought a new travel shirt. People who have seen our travel videos in the past, I haven't done it in a minute because I needed a new one. I'm actually wearing not a travel shirt, but I got a new one. So in our next travel, you will see the debut of the new Buc-ee's travel shirt, which the next travel is sooner than you think. It's like 3 days from now. Going to Mexico. Also, shout out my mom. The farm place that she was talking about was the farm place we ate, so she was 2 for 2 on her Gatlinburg recommendations for us. So shout out my mom, who will not be watching this video. Made it home, safe and sound. The trip portion of our adventure is officially in the books. You look like you want to get down. I'll let you down. But we have one more fun thing planned. Got home in time to go to the Monday matinee Manchester United match. Say all that really fast. 2 o'clock game. We're going to go to Lost Patty, kind of show our German friend how we do European soccer here in Nashville. One last little send-off before she has to go to the airport and fly back to Germany. And then we'll officially call time on this fun weekend that we've all had together. Come on, you Reds. And although I do have one kind of caveat for this, the good news about bringing an outsider to a United match is if United lose today, we know exactly who to blame. You can't go back to Germany if they win this game. You can't go back to Germany if they win this game. You have to stay and come to all of the subsequent matches. Them's the rules. 2-0 now. Now yous can't leave.
Well, I'm sorry, but Delta Airlines says what I do.
Rebook the flight. You know people. You can rebook flights.
Now that the soccer game's back on.
German friend is leaving us. So if anything goes south for Manchester United, we know who to blame here.
And you're
It was a blast. It's great having her in town. It's always fun. She brings the
heat, so to speak. You go next July? July. We'll see her soon. Alright, Brantford has pulled one back late. It's 2-1. So our German friend leaving is a problem.
Bring it up.
We're going to have to bring her back. Go to the airport and go get her.
I would if I could. I would leave her here all the time.
Manchester and I were doing fine until she left, so she's got to come back. We did it. We held on. United 2-1 win over Brentford. Our German friend has to now return for every subsequent for all time for our future. We play Liverpool next Sunday, so German friend, if you watch this, you need to book your trip back from Germany to here to watch Manchester United. Actually, we'll be in Mexico next Sunday, so German friend, come meet us in Mexico. We'll all watch the match together. It'll be great.
She can come to Mexico.
You text her, tell her to come to Mexico, because she is clearly the good look charm for Manchester United. 3 points away from the Champions League. Manchester United held on to win 2-1, so we're kind of unclear on exactly what we think the effect our German friend had on the match was. We were up 2-0 while she was there. We gave up a goal once she left, but we held on to win, so signs are unclear. I would normally say she needs to just come back to town next Sunday for the huge match against Liverpool, but preview of what's come here on the channel, me and Jesta will actually be in Mexico next Sunday when Manchester United take on Liverpool. All that said, we're going to wrap up this video, wrap up this whole series of vlogs that we've done for the Dollywood weekend, because obviously we're home. That weekend's over. It's time to go back to the real world, at least for a brief period of time, because like I said, right around the corner, this coming weekend, Jess and I, we're going to Mexico. But before that, more preview things to come. Tomorrow, Tuesday, April 28th, Nashville SC will be hosting Tigres at Geodis Park. I finally get to go back to Geodis Park. I finally get to see the boys in gold in person. Looked like I was going to miss like 20 home games in a row, but the way the schedule fell, I finally get to see this one. The CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal first leg matchup. Super excited for that. We'll have a game day vlog coming for that afterwards. And then next thing you know, me and Jessa will be in Mexico. So tons of fun stuff coming up on the channel. Had a blast this weekend. Could not have gone better. So happy to have spent the weekend with my wife, our German friend, and had to have experienced the first ever Run Dollywood weekend. There were some ups and downs, obviously, like, you know, literally ups and downs, because there's a lot of elevation changes in the hills and the mountains and stuff were challenging, but wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It was a blast. I was about to say, can't wait to do it again. Like I said, we're on the fence. Will we go back for the future races? Time will tell. The only way you can know if we go back to future races is subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on for notifications, all that other crap. Vlog is over.